Hello everyone. From today, we are starting our sociology discussion. Here we will try to cover all our sociology from the UPSC CSC point of view. Today, we are having discussion on the Unit 1 Modernity and Social Changes in Europe and Emergence of Sociology. In this particular lecture, we will cover the part 1 of this unit and around 3 to 4 parts are going to come. Let's begin. Yes, sociology. Sociology is the systematic and scientific study of human behavior, social groups, and society. The key words we should note here is a systematic and scientific study. Systematic, why? Because when we do sociological study, we try to find out the patterns of interaction. We try to find out the logic behind the things which are happening. Scientific, because we do observation, we do the social surveys, we try to find out that how people think and how their thinking influence their activities, not only at individual level but at the group level and at the entire society level. Sociology does the study of human behavior, and all these human made the social groups, and the various social group are the reason behind the existence of the society. So basically we can say here we have three pillars: the human behavior, the social group, social institution, or as an entire society. It is a discipline that examines how humans interact with each other. Okay, sociology try to find out what is the driving force behind a particular interaction. If your friend is talking to you in one case, in another, if a stranger is talking to you, both have a different driving force. The reason behind the conversation, motive behind the conversation, why people behave in a particular way, how the social conditioning happen. For example, if they are two boys and one is very much patriarchal in his choices, in his nature, and another one is not. So it is not that the person who is patriarchal in his thought, in his thinking process, in his choices and preferences, he is from the birth like this. No, this is the result of social conditioning. Since childhood, he has been taught like you are a boy and you are supposed to do all these things, and just because she is a girl, she is not supposed to do these particular tasks. Okay, and the boy who is not patriarchal, who believe much in the equality, whose nature is being of very much into the being equal, he don't carry that male ego, the chauvinism, their patriarchal attitude. He is also the result of social conditioning. If we take up the example of Meghalaya, in one of our video we have also tried to cover the Meghalaya in the states of India. We find their matrilineal system, that the youngest daughter will carry the lineage. She will be the owner of the assets and having the responsibility of her parents. In that society, you will find that women have equal opportunity to speak up in the public, to take part in the public space, to take the economic decisions. So, very much egalitarian society. So, sociology try to find out that how human interact. So, it's not only their nature, the nature of human being, that why they are like this. They are the result of social conditioning, social values, social norms, where they were brought up. And how human behavior and values and norms are shaped by the structural and institutional forces. Obviously, patriarchy is an institution in itself. Marriage is an institution. And there is a structure, there is a pattern in the society that how you are supposed to behave if you are in a public space. Look at we help create the social structure and institution. We know that we human being made the social groups, and all these social group are converted into the institutions, the various institutions of society, the social structures of society. It is just because of us human being. But initially we made up all this structure, we made up all these institutions, and now we are dominated by all these structures, all these social norms and patterns. So, what are the interrelations between the interaction of human behavior, these social institutions, values, and norms? How our choices, our preferences, our career choices, our marriage choices, how they are decided, how they are influenced by the social structure. So, this is all the scope of study of sociology, basically, that we are the result of social conditioning the way we are, and we are the one who made the social structure, and now we are dominated by the structure that we created. That's all. Next, sociology and ancient people. So one thing, we say that sociology is a very nascent discipline. It emerged very in the late 80s and in the late 18th century or in the 19th century, we say. But it's not like that. It's not that earlier the people who used to live in the ancient era, they were not curious about the society, that how people behave and why they are like this, why the one social group is so prosperous, other is so poor, why the females in one social group are so liberal, and they took part in each and activity, whether it is economic activity, agricultural activity, and in another social group the females are very much into the four walls of the house. So it's not like that there is a clear demarcation that okay, the sociological investigation happened only in the late 18th or 19th century. No, this sociological thought earlier also used to exist, but it used to exist in a different form. Ancient people bridged to figure out how the social life work. They did questioning. Doing questioning is very much into the sociology. If you do not question that why this particular social behavior is so much prominent among these people, why so much rape cases happening in India, why the social status of a woman is so much degraded in India, why there is so much obscenity and the commodification of a woman in the series, in the movies, and why the people like to watch it. I think we need to go deeper into the thinking of people, that what in which way they have conditioned that they like this obscenity, they like this nudity, they like the vulgar language that people are using. Recently I watched a series, just some episodes of that, and I was much into the in a surprising situation, that how can people like so much vulgar languages and so much of obscenity. I was amazed. So the reason behind of all these likings, that why the production houses are making this kind of series, why they are basically they are working according to the demand in the market. If in the market there is a demand that they want to see the commodification of a woman, if they want to go into the obscenity and they like this, obviously supply will be according to the demand. So let's stick to a point, that they did questioning, but their answer often based on the superstition, myth, and even on the position of the stars. They didn't test their assumptions. Test, evaluate, scientific study. It means that in sociology, what we do, we evaluate, we do testing, and then only we will reach to a conclusion. when we talk about the science, in science, the theories are tested by the research. Basically, this particular paragraph or the points want to clear that earlier there was also the questioning, but their answer were basically depend upon the myth, depend upon the superstition. That if for example superstition, let's discuss a superstition, that whenever women have menstrual periods, menstrual cycle, and then it is supposed to be that if she touches a tree, she touches a plant, and that plant will get degenerate, and the plant will get sick. She is not allowed into kitchen. And when I was in my college, we were given a project. uh, we were having a mass communication as a subject, one of our subject in our course. And we were given a project about the situation of women in Indian society, status of women basically. So we were covering the various article, and one article which I find in a magazine, that in Nepal, and the areas near the villages near the Bihar, Uttarakhand, and Nepal, even the women are forced to live in uh, the animal houses, in the cow house. Basically, they are not allowed to live in the house, in her own house, in the kitchen, in the washroom. She is not allowed to use the washroom also. She is considered to be very impure. So this is basically a superstition. This is something which is given to us by the nature. And this is a kind of blessing, because all the human being who exist on this earth, it would not have been possible if women do not have period. So it is a scientific study basically, that the periods shows that fertility of a woman, and it plays an important part in the fertility, in the when a woman conceive, the baby birth, all these things. It is a scientific study that going into the investigation and find out the correct reason. It's only a myth, it's only a superstition. I'm a human being, we females the human being, this is something which is blessed us to by the nature, and even it is a blessing for the humankind, for the human race. But for a woman in itself, it's a very painful. But still, earlier men, earlier social processes, earlier social institutions, their norms, their values were in such a way that it was considered as impure. Answer was based on superstition, that if women take part in the economic activities, it will lead to the destruction. I think this is not happening in the European, in the Western countries. There are very good labor force participation of the females, and they are not getting destruction. They are not destructed. So basically, all the social queries which were existed at that time, they were driven by the myth, superstitions, and basically they used to tell that the position of the star is like this, then this will happen, that will not happen. Basically, going into a logic reason, doing reasoning was not there. But still, we can say that yes, people were curious enough to know that why these things are happening in one particular society and not in others, in one social group and not in others. Okay. Now, emergence of sociology. Sociology emerged about middle of 18th century, when social observation began to use scientific method to test their ideas. Basically, so sociology as a discipline, we know sociology has its own methods, its own data, its own investigation of doing research, doing testing, reaching to the conclusion. So it was basically established in the 18th century, when scientific method became one of the prominent tool to go into the sociological investigation. With the traditional answer failing to give answer, obviously the traditional answers which were based on the superstition, which were based on the myth, which were based on the position of the stars, so they were not satisfying the people. If we say that why the farmers are committing suicide in India, so you cannot answer in superstition terms that this may be the reason, or you cannot go for only a one personal reason. Basically, it is a pattern. If one farmer is doing suicide, then we can see, okay, if two are saying, then we can say also that it's okay, maybe he having some psychological issues, maybe he was not happy from his life. But if we say there is a pattern, if there is a pattern that farmers are debted, the agriculture produce that they are producing, they do not fetch enough price, and all their life is a cycle of debt. So you will find this pattern is having a very negative effect on the farmers, and because of that there is so much suicide in Punjab, in Maharashtra, because they do not have enough money to invest in their farmhouses, and there is rain shadow areas, so their whole life is very depressing. So this is a pattern that sociological, socio-economic factors are there, it's not personal. Okay. So when traditional answer failing to give answer, the sociological step was to apply the scientific method to question about social life. Okay, scientific questioning. You know what we do in scientific questioning? We will go into the observation, we will go into the numbers, we will go into the statistics, we will go into the social surveys, and then we will try to find out a pattern. Okay. Then sociology is one of the youngest sciences because only recently it came to be established as a distinct branch. It has its own distinct concepts, own methods of inquiry, and it was the efforts of the Auguste Comte that it was established as a separate discipline in the 19th century itself. Then next, sociology, one of the oldest sciences. Yes, we have discussed it that sociology is one of the eldest because yet sociology established as a distinct discipline in the 18th and 19th century, but there was sociological thought even before the sociology established. So for thousands of years man reflected upon societies. Since that man gained its brain thinking capacity, analyzing capacity, obviously the man is thinking that existence of societies, existence of social groups. Even centuries ago, men were thinking about society, how it should be organized, and even the views of man on his destiny, rise and fall of people and civilization. Yet they were thinking in social terms. They were known as the philosopher, historian, and thinker. Since the beginning of civilization of society, there has been a kind of speculation and inquiry about the phenomena, about the social phenomena which are taking place. We can find out in the writings of Plato, Aristotle, Kautilya, and in others also, they were dealing basically the nature of society, law, religion, and philosophy. For example, the writings of the Plato like Republic, Aristotle's Politics, Kautilya's Arthashastra, Manusmriti, Cicero's Justice. They are some of the sources of sociological thought which used to exist in ancient time. So we can say that people, the philosophers, the thinkers who used to exist in the ancient time, they also had the sociological thinking. They also had the curiosity. But we cannot term it as a sociology. Because, for example, Kautilya focused only on the Arthashastra, only on the economic factors, that how an economy should run, how a king should take better economic policies. It was not much integrated, it was not composed, it was not a holistic study of entire society. When we do the study of entire society, considering the law, religion, philosophy as a different bunches or different branches, and do the holistic study of society. So in the ancient time, there was not holistic study of society. Basically, the philosophers and the thinkers, they were much concerned about one or other sociological factors like only economy, only the law, only the society. In the terms of Manu Samriti, that how the female should behave, how the male should behave, how the family should be organized. So it was not a holistic study completely altogether, and even there was no scientific study, not much reasoning or logic behind their thoughts also. When we talk in the terms of integrity, that whole society is integrated, and then we will study the society, no. During the Middle Ages, early men early modern times, teachings of church dominated the human mind, and the most part of human thinking remained metaphysical speculation, far away from the scientific inquiry. Initially, when we talk about the European society, so the church was the main dominating factor on the thinking of men. If something is declared by the church as a sacred, anything said by the church was sacred. You are not allowed to do questioning, basically. So it was not giving you the freedom of thinking, the freedom of doing questioning. So this era is also known as the dark age. The dark age when there was not enough growth in the terms of literature, in the terms of history writing, in the terms of invention. So it was a dark age. So their quest for an understanding human society, its nature, socio-political system, and its problem now received a new impetus when it was around 16th century. We say is Renaissance, a period of Renaissance, when people having this inquiry, the curiosity that they want to know more and more about the society, and it is reflected by the work of some of the philosophers, some of the intellectuals like the Adam Smith Wealth of Nation, Montesquieu The Spirit of Law, Rousseau's The Social Contract, Machiavelli's The Prince. So after the Dark Age, all these thinkers became very active. They had a natural quest to know more about human beings. After the Dark Age, in the European society, a sense of curiosity was taking place. People were enough curious, and a kind of environment was created where people started to believe in the capacity, in the capability of human beings, that being is in the center of all this universe which is happening. The things which are happening, they are all around the human beings. Human being is the main hero of the movie. Okay, so this is something which happened. Sociology as a distinct body of knowledge. It was only in the 19th century, modernity and social change in the Europe, that systematic attempts were made by the Auguste Comte, Spencer, Durkheim, Weber, and others to study society and establish science of society as a sociology. So this is the part 1 which is complete. Let's summarize in few words. That basically, first of all, what sociology is. Sociology is about scientific study. Sociology has its own methods, own theories, and it tried to dive deeper into the sociological thinking, into the thinking of human being. And the emergence of sociology lies in the history of the Europe. In our future series, in our future lecture, we will try to cover that what were the reason behind the emergence of sociology in the Europe itself. Why sociology didn't emerge in India, in Africa, in China? Why only in Europe? What were the reason existed in Europe which led to the emergence of sociology? So in our next lecture we will try to cover that. So have good time guys. Bye.